How you doing, guys? Scott and Hader here from For Fighting's Sake. We are joined with none other than one championship athlete, Stevie El Matador Irvine. First of all, how are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Just finished a good tasty session, so feeling buzzing.
It was brilliant watching you hit the pads, and we just saw yesterday a statement released by yourself that you had a date confirmed for your next fight. Are you able to tell us when you'll be fighting, and do you know who your opponent is?
So I will be fighting early March. Had a few mishaps, so I've not been able to commit to previous dates. I was meant to fight originally a bit earlier. Now I'm fighting a little bit later, so my opponent has been changed. He can't wait that long to fight me, so I'm now just waiting for an opponent for the 7th of March.
Well, we can't wait to find out who it is, and we know you've defeated the likes of VK, Kalyai, former Lumpini champion, Focus PK, Den King Cree, and dispatching some of the best one championship has to throw at you. What more do you think you need to do to get that 6-figure contract? So,
at one Lumpini, you need to be winning in style. You need to be knocking out your opponents back to back consistently. You need to string together dominant performances, which I have. I've got one loss in there. I think that set me back majorly. If you have one loss, you're basically starting again, and you need to start stringing those wins together again. But for me, it's a difficult, frustrating one, because I'm fighting Lumpini champions, Raja champions, Channel 7 champions, Omni Stadium champions. So I think I've had a really hard run at it, but listen, I want to be fighting these guys. I'm not going to sit here and moan about fighting, in my opinion, some of the best in the world. It's just making my journey a bit harder. I'm going to have more tools. I'm going to be a better rounded fighter, so if I get offered bigger fights when I get that contract, I'll be ready to take them.
So, secondly, Stevie, we'd like to know, how did you originally get into the sport of Muay Thai?
I got into Muay Thai through my dad. My dad was a fighter, not as high a level as I am. Obviously I started when I was really young. He started a bit later in life. He got me into it at a young age, just took me along to the classroom one day, showed me a movie called Ong Bak. And that was it, I fell in love with the sport.
We'd like to know, at what point in your young career did you know that you wanted to pursue professional fighting? Was it perhaps your WMO European title fight, or was it before that?
It was before that. What made me want to pursue it was one championship. When I was maybe about 16, 17, I was thinking to myself, right, I'm fighting professionally, I'm quite good, I'm doing alright, but how far do I go now to make money and make a living from fighting? I never seen that as possible. I was still working a full-time job and stuff like that at the time. Then one championship came about. That fueled a spark in my career again. That made me want to go on, because I could see a way to then make a living out of fighting.
That's great that you do now see this as a viable career path. And following on from you saying, your dad was a great inspiration for you, how important have your coaches been in your Thai career? And is there anyone in particular that's helped you the most to get you to where you are today?
I wouldn't say anybody in particular, but I've always had Nico. He's always been my training partner since 15. We went to Thailand together and made the move. And I always had him coming up. He was in the gym, he worked harder than anybody, and if I was fighting on the same card as him, I had to show up and try and outwork him, or else you stuck out. So I always had him to keep me going. There was always that push more, that competitive edge. I training alongside somebody like Nico, and we still have that to this day. When we're out running, I'm trying to beat him, and he's trying to beat me. He's trying not to let me get ahead of him. It's a friendly competitiveness. Of course, my coach JP is, in my opinion, the best coach there is in the world right now. I don't see anybody coming close to him. His IQ for the game, his eyes for putting a game plan together, no one comes close to that.
Next question I'd like to ask you, Stephen, is what's the biggest difference between training in Scotland compared to over in Thailand?
Training in Scotland, the average person who's going to a class, if you go to Thailand when you're starting out in your career, this is when I think it's the best time to go. You're not just sitting in a class doing some combinations. You'll get one time with Padman, you'll practice clinch every day. There's a lot of repetition, you're training every single day, it's consistent. Classes here, it's maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and it's combinations, and you go through it with another person. Whereas you go to Thailand, you get one time.
That's very good to know. We also saw recently that you announced the arrival of a young baby girl.
Yep.
Massive congrats on that. How do you think that's going to change your life?
In a Thai boxing sense, I feel like it's just going to fuel me, it's going to make me hungrier. I know that I need to do it, I've got more than just myself to fight for now. I've quit my job, I've put a lot on the line, so this or nothing. In my eyes, I'm always going to keep pushing this career until I make something of it.
Lastly, we recently saw that you signed with Top King. How did this deal come about?
The gym that I train at in Thailand, in Bangkok, they are sponsored by Top King also, and he's good friends with Top King, like the guy who owns it, Top King. And he says, how would you fancy having a Top King deal? And I was like, I would love that. Something I've wore since I was a kid. In the gym, my first pair of shin guards were Top King, and the rest of my sponsors have been amazing as well. They helped me get out to Thailand, helped me pay for my flights, helped me do all the things that I need to do, because without them it wouldn't be possible.
Well, lastly, Stephen, we're just going to fire into a wee quick fire round if that's okay with you.
Where does the nickname El Matador come from?
So when I was about 19, I think I was, I fought a Spanish guy, like charging towards me. See the bullfighters, they do this, and they step round. So he was coming to me, I kept spinning round, stepping off, and I've done this a lot in my career, so that's where the name came from.
Who is your favourite fighter, past or present?
Bockel. Just because when I was younger, that was who I watched. So.
If you could be a champion in any other sport, not a combat sport, what would it be?
It'd be some sort of motorsport, I think.
So Stephen, 3 rounds or 5 rounds Muay Thai?
3 rounds, because it's more exciting. I love traditional Muay Thai, and I always will love traditional Muay Thai, but I think 3-round Muay Thai is what's going to make the sport grow.
Before we let you go, what animal do you think you could beat in a fight? The biggest one?
What animal?
Yeah.
Say that, a kangaroo.
A kangaroo?
Aye.
We'll match that up, we'll go on Australia next.
Well, thank you very much, Stevie, for your time with this interview, and we really wish you the best of luck come your next fight. Go get that contract now.
Thank you, boys. Cheers.
Thank you, mate.